Hello, trumpet players and musicians in general. This is video number 4 in our Stage Fright video series. In this video, we'll be talking about when it's not stage fright. I want to start this video off by talking about something that happened to me, I guess about 10 or 15 years after I had pretty much conquered my own stage fright. And I remember when it was happening, I'm thinking, wait, this can't be. I teach this stuff. How can it be that I'm being nervous now? Especially in that context, it was like there was nothing to be nervous about. And here's the thing, it was different symptoms. I wasn't getting that dry mouth. So let me back up a little bit and tell you what happened. I got hired at the last minute. Why was it the last minute? Because the other guy that was playing the gig, I think he did 2 or 3 rehearsals, he got fired. And the atmosphere for this gig was already hostile when I got in there. And personally, I don't see that as a compliment. If someone says, oh, we fired the other guy, we wanted you. I don't see that as a compliment. I'm wondering what went on there. What really happened? And I was right this time. This guy, the guy that was in charge, I don't know, I don't want to speak badly, but he was kind of a musical tyrant, so to speak. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I actually enjoy working with leaders that know what they want. I actually truly enjoy that, and I don't enjoy tyrannical leaders, but sometimes that just comes with the territory. I would much rather have a tyrannical leader gig playing for someone that's really abusive. I would rather have that than play on a gig where the leader doesn't know what he wants. I'm serious. I'm not making that up. I actually do like that kind of structure. I like to know what's expected of me. And if you're going to be a little rude in the process, well, that goes with the territory. But this guy was exceptionally intense. Let's put it that way. That way it's not as derogatory. This guy was intense, right? And it was probably no better for me to be there than the other guy. It was a high stress situation. I think I did 2 or 3 rehearsals. I can't remember exactly. And it was one of those shows where it used to be 3 trumpets and they narrowed it down to 1, which I like those kind of gigs because I get to use more of what I've got. So, yeah, so I can play the schmaltzy stuff, I can play the high lead stuff, I like putting on those different hats because that's who I am as a player. So I like that part of it. But it was a tough gig. Musically speaking, it was a tough gig. And the environment made it extremely intense. I don't want to say stressful. I really don't want to say stressful, okay? It was just intense. So every time before we played, my palms got sweaty. My heart would start pounding. My breath was no longer metered. I was panting a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like the expert on stage fright. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? And I had a revelation. That's not stage fright. That's excitement. And I mean, think about it. If we label everything that's exciting as stage fright, what a terrible career we're going to have. That's a terrible, terrible career. Because there's a lot of gigs where you actually should be excited. You know, the first time I heard about this, I hope I'm not getting this wrong. We used to have in El Paso, back when I was in El Paso, I think Empire Brass came 2 or 3 times while I was there. But also Boston Brass came. I think it was Boston Brass. Anyway, there were 2 different brass quintets from the Boston area that came, and they did concerts, did master classes. I'm almost certain it was Boston Brass. And in one of those master classes that they did as the group, if I'm not mistaken, you know, this was 40 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, one of those brass quintet people said that this kind of intensity, this sweaty palms and stuff like that, this is normal for a exciting gig. And I don't want to get technical on it, right? Because I'm not a scientist. I think of myself as a very logical, philosophical, almost scientific person, the way my mind works. But I also know that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of trumpet teachers and other fields as well, where they will incorporate science to make what they say sound more believable. And because I know they do this, it actually sounds less believable to me, right? Because just like, you know, with sales techniques, right? I've read about just about every sales technique there is. Which, by the way, associating science with your product is one of those techniques. If you know about the sales techniques, they have less sway over you. I'm not going to say they don't have any sway, but they have a lot less sway because you recognize that. Like the people who say they're going to give you a deal, but you only have 5 minutes to decide. Right? That's a technique. If you know that's a technique and someone does that to you, then you know that's not really how it is. And you don't have to make that choice now. Right? And it's the same thing with this science stuff. I don't like to associate my teaching with science that way because I know that it's fake. It's genuine quasi-science. That's why I haven't done that range video that I want to do. I want to do it in a way where you get exposed to the mathematics of it without me sounding like my thoughts are better than someone else's thoughts, right? Because I'm more scientific. I think that's a terrible, terrible thing. And I don't want to be guilty of it. So anyway, so I'm just going to, in that light, mention adrenaline. I don't even know if it's adrenaline. I think it's the guys that I heard this from. They called it adrenaline. I don't think they know that it's adrenaline. For all we know, it could be some other hormone. But the truth of the matter is something happens when you get excited. Your heart does go faster. Your mind is more alert. Your perception of time is faster. And yes, you get sweaty palms. That's not stage fright. It's not performance anxiety. That's your body doing what it needs to do to get the job done well. So here's what I want to give you in this context. When you feel those kinds of things happening in a performance, this is what I did. I said to myself, that's just adrenaline. Now, I don't know if it's adrenaline or not, but I know that I know what I mean, right? It might not be adrenaline, but when I'm saying this to myself, I know what I mean. Right? And when you say it to yourself, you know what you mean too. So this reaction that we're having to the intensity of the gig is not stage fright. So you say to yourself, this isn't stage fright. Say it to yourself. If you have to say it out loud, say it out loud. This is not stage fright. I'm excited about this gig. I want to do a great job. And my body, the way God designed it, is geared up for that. I'm experiencing that really miracle. If we welcome that instead of dreading it, then it no longer becomes a stage fright episode. But I do believe, let's back up just a little bit. I do believe that these can often become a stage fright episode because of where your mind is at. Right? If you say, oh no, I'm getting nervous, then the nervousness does kick in. And you start having genuine crash and burn stage fright scenarios because of a natural process that happens in your body automatically. And maybe that's what, see, like I said, I'm not a genuine scientist. Maybe that's what, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe that's what stage fright is when the body's mechanisms, how it deals with important events. Maybe that stuff gets sidetracked, maybe it gets hijacked by unmusical thoughts. By the way, that is the answer to this, right? Tell yourself, this is not stage fright. This is my body doing what it's supposed to do, so now let's focus on my job, and that's the music. You focus on the music, and this will divert. Basically, when you do that, when you acknowledge that this is your body's natural response to a high-pressure situation, and then say, let's focus on the music, you're taking advantage of all that natural strength and power that God gave you and designed for you to have in those situations. Win-win situation, right? That's what we want. We want to tap into that. And that's how you do it. You calm yourself down, not calm, I mean, I don't think you can make those symptoms go away. I don't think you can just make your heart stop pounding. I think what you have to do, and we're going to talk more about that in the last video in this series, about the stuff you can do to combat stage fright on the performance. Things that don't involve meditation, they don't involve you having to do yoga or eat bananas or take is it propanol? I can't remember the name of the drug, or beta blockers. You don't need any of that. Unless you have genuine, let me clarify there. I said you don't need any of that. Unless you have genuine mental illness that needs to be treated by a real psychologist or psychiatrist. Well, I get the two mixed up. Okay? When I say you don't need that, it's for the people who really don't need that. If you have true mental problems. Now, on that issue, look at my previous videos. I addressed that. Okay? All right, so let me just summarize real quickly. Not every time you have episodes, that they're not always stage fright. They're not always performance anxiety. When that happens, be thankful for it. This is something that God has given you so that you have the skills to get this job done. Be thankful for it. Welcome it. Then focus on the job that you have to do. And by the way, one more thing before I let you go. I'll let you go. I just like to hear my student. One more thing. What do I mean by focus on the music? I have discovered that focusing on the mechanics of the music is no good. In a context like that, when things are intense, you do not focus on the mechanics of, don't think about what fingering, don't think about the rhythms, don't think about that stuff. Put your focus on and think about what the music sounds like. In other words, play by ear. Have an oral image in your head of what the music should sound like. And now this is something you have to do in practice first before you get on stage. All of your practice should be like this. You have a mental oral image in your head of what the music sounds like, and there it goes. That's what playing music is all about. You have that. In the trumpet community, they call it your sound model, right? You have that image in your head, and you execute it that way. If you try to think about the individual items that come together to make the music, that's when it's going to start being converting this natural thing that God gave us. You'll now convert it into something that will turn into a crash and burn scenario. Be musical. Be expressive. Okay? That's what I have for you on this one. That's what we want to focus on. Welcome that automatic response. Use it because that's what it's there for. And then focus on the music. All right? Well, God bless you guys. We got one more of these. If you have any questions about any of these videos, please feel free to ask below. And if you want to ask directly in one of the Q&A sessions, I invite you to the Q&A session. We do these typically on a Friday. I may in the future change the day or the time. We'll see. Just keep your eye open for the Q&A sessions. The guys actually enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it too if you have the time to join us, okay? Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next video. God bless you.